This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, everyone. A Tasmanian town devastated by floods 2 years ago has developed a multi-million-dollar plan to ensure it's never beaten by Mother Nature's destruction again. Bill Shorten visiting the town today with an election promise to pay for most of the mitigation measures.
Inspecting a site that this time 2 years ago was devastated by raging floods. Meeting with locals, many who are still counting the costs.
You've got all your wealth tied up in your business, and once that floats down the river, you go with it, basically. Yeah.
And promising to help ensure a similar event doesn't happen again.
Federal Labor will commit to $3.4 million in flood mitigation measures to prevent the catastrophe which happened in the 2016 floods in Latrobe.
Today's announcement follows months of work by the region's council and consultants in Tura, who have come up with the $4.5 million flood mitigation plan.
The flood system will include, as Bill said, earth mounds along River Road right behind us. It includes sheet piles along behind the houses in Gilbert Street that were so badly impacted by the floods.
These measures will ensure that 70 households and 73 businesses are flood-proofed.
The council wants the mitigation work to start as soon as possible, given the town could flood again any time. And it's now calling on the Liberal Party to match Labor's promise.
We'll be taking an informed and educated position on this, because this is not the time for popular politics.
The state government says the mitigation report was only handed to its federal counterparts on Wednesday.
We will be very interested to do whatever we can to support the Latrobe Council.
The Mayor says it would be a struggle to complete the project without federal support.
The report itself won't save lives, it won't protect Latrobe. It's what we do with the report and the contribution of the federal and state governments that will make the difference.
But even with Mr Shorten's promise, that relies on him being elected at the next general federal election. So for now, residents will need to keep hoping Mother Nature plays nice. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
The state government has today come under fire for its health spending, despite the party upping investment within the state budget. 30% of the Tasmanian budget will go directly to the health sector, including $475 million for infrastructure and funding for new beds and additional staff. But Labor today says the government has its spending priorities wrong, with much of the allocated funds not to be spent within the next 4 years.
The government is doing absolutely nothing to show that they value their health professionals. They are not listening to anything they are saying, and the Health Minister needs to stop, take a step back and start to listen.
We've reinvested every single year into our health system to employ more nurses, to ensure that Tasmanians get the services that they need and deserve.
The budget also committing an additional $20 million in an attempt to shorten waiting lists for elective surgery. Meanwhile, it's hoped tourists will drive to more Tasmanian destinations because of the state government's commitment to invest more into tourism signage and infrastructure. $800,000 will be provided next financial year to help improve awareness of attractions in the north, northwest and south.
What we are trying to achieve is bringing more visitors into the region and also getting them to move off the highways and into the more rural areas, so signage is a very important part of that process.
The government's goal is for 70% of tourists to spend at least one night in a regional location by 2022. Early investigations suggest driver fatigue may have contributed in a serious two-vehicle crash in the state's north last night. The incident involved a Toyota Corolla and a Toyota commuter light bus colliding on the Bass Highway at Hellier at around 10:40. It's understood one of the vehicles crossed onto the incorrect side of the road. Both drivers aged 24 and 34 sustaining leg injuries and needing to be cut free from their vehicles. 2 other adults along with 6 children were passengers in the bus at the time, but escaped without serious injury. All occupants were transported to the Northwest Regional Hospital, with both drivers now stable. An incorrectly installed fireplace flue is being blamed for a house fire at Sisters Beach last night. Emergency crews were called to Irby Boulevard just after 6:30 to find the second story of the property well alight. It's estimated more than $250,000 worth of damage was caused, with the fire deemed accidental. 3 of Tasmania's up-and-coming winemakers will tomorrow discover if they'll be named a Young Gun of Wine. The National Awards celebrating winemakers under the age of 40. This year, 3 Tasmanians named as finalists. The awards ceremony taking place at Mona tomorrow, but the nominees say it's about more than just a trophy.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic to win, but there's a lot more to the awards than just winning. You make a lot of friends and obviously a lot of contacts, and the whole thing is a wonderful experience.
Really happy to have the wines up there, and some of the other entrants or nominations for the top 12 are some really amazing little wines in there, so to be put in their company is always really pleasing.
The Huon Valley's Sailor Seeks Horse Winery also nominated for the prestigious award. Dozens of young Tasmanian dancers have spent today learning new routines from some of the country's best dancers and choreographers. Marko Panzic, Eden Petrovsky and Mitch Winter teaching at workshops. The class is held ahead of the Night of Dance extravaganza at the Princess Theatre on Tuesday night. All money raised will go towards Give Me 5 for Kids, which helps 6 sick Tasmanian children. An extraordinary act of generosity from one Hobart family will now see $500,000 set aside to help those in need. A brand new home at Old Beach is now on the market, with all profits going back to the community.
An open home with a difference. When the D'Orazio family decided to subdivide their Old Beach property more than a decade ago, they thought it was time to give something back, donating 1 hectare of land to charity. Today, a brand new home stands on the site, ready to be sold. All profits from the sale going back to helping those less fortunate through the Hobart Rotary Club. The sum expected to be in excess of $500,000.
Together we've made something that's really amazing and great that we couldn't have done as an individual. So it's been a really amazing time to be involved in.
The West Moona Men's Shed will be the first to benefit from the donation, $28,000 used to fund a much-needed extension.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, our own Rotary Club of Hobart has donated $400,000 to useful projects, but having $500,000 in one sum, we're really going to be able to make a big difference to our community.
We might ever be involved in where the money goes to, but somebody else is going to get a benefit, and that's just great.
For the past 8 months, dozens of tradies and suppliers have built the house from the ground up, donating around $200,000 worth of time and materials along the way.
It's huge importance to our company, so a family-based company, so to be able to put back into the community in which we work in is an amazing thing for our business.
This house now ready to become a home. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
The Launceston Tornadoes couldn't catch a trick up against the Melbourne Tigers overnight, with their new import going down with injury in her very first game before falling just short on the scoreboard. But the loss now sees them sitting in a precarious position on the ladder. Keen to make her mark, American Courtney Williams took it straight to the Tigers. Lauren Nicholson adding a touch of class from downtown as the Tawns went up by 10 come the first break. But Melbourne refused to let the game go without a fight, clawing back in it to make things interesting. 22 points from Ali Wilson, keeping the home crowd's hopes alive before Williams went down heavy on her ankle, sending a big scare through the Launceston camp. The Tawns' top scorer then copping one high as Melbourne began to exert their dominance on the match, claiming points any way they could, much to the frustration of the Launceston bench. A late long-range bucket keeping the home side within reach, but the visitors kept their cool in the dying seconds, holding on for the 4-point win, seeing the Tawns drop from 6th to 8th on the Seabull ladder. To soccer, and it was a tense battle between 2 of the NPL's best at KG5, with the Hobart Zebras striking just before the half-time whistle, courtesy of Jakob Sklenar. The home side gifting Devonport their best chance of the match, with Braden Mann making no mistake to secure a 1-1 draw.
Good evening. Hobart 11 today, Launceston 13, Burnie 14, Devonport 15. Around the state, 15 was the top and only seen in Devonport, Smithton, Lowhead, St Helens and Wynyard all on 14, Friendly Beaches and Cressy 13, King Island and Strawn as well as Maria Island 12, Ooze 11, Grove 10 and Liaweenie a top of 4 and getting down to 0 overnight. Quite cold out that way. To the satellite, there's bands of low-level convective clouds spiralling around the northeast coast, plenty of cloud across across the west, central and southern parts of the state also. Nationwide, a high pressure system is centred over the Bight and a cloud band associated with a cold front is approaching southwest WA. Tomorrow, a low pressure system will move northeast along the New South Wales Central Coast, and the high over the Bight remains a dominant feature on the map. A cold front will also cross the WA coast, bringing more unlikely cool weather for our western mates. On the water, south to southeasterly winds to 20 knots, increasing to 30 knots in the east. Seas up to 3 metres about the west and south. There's a strong wind warning current for northwestern coastal waters between Sandy Cape and Stanley, and for eastern waters between Cape Portland and southeast Cape. There's also a flood warning current for the Huon River and a flood watch for the southern river basins. Tomorrow, Hobart 11, chance of showers, Dover 11 as well, Ooze cloudy with 10. Launceston 12, partly cloudy. Devonport 13, mostly sunny out that way. Scottsdale cloudy as well. Burnie 13, 12 Strawn. Stanley sunny with 13. And St Helens 12 with a shower or two. Swansea also 12. Ross looking cloudy with a top of 10. And the 3-day forecast starting Tuesday looking fine apart from coastal showers about the east. Wednesday mostly fine with showers around the north coast. The state's top will be 15 seen in a few places, and Thursday coastal showers expected for the north and west coast. 14 for Launceston and in Hobart as well. Lapping the map for tomorrow, 18 and showers in Perth, Adelaide cloudy 14, Canberra 12, Melbourne showers with 14. And currently in Hobart, Launceston and Devonport 9 all round. That's it from me. Thanks, Rach.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Candice. Well, that's all your news for now.